that time again. It's been 2 weeks since I streamed, but we're doing more AI Dungeon. This week we're doing another custom. I've decided this one will have more of a sci-fi flavor. You are Sock, captain of the starship Uranus. You are headed, you are traveling through deep space on your way to the Effluvian star cluster. You tell your the ship is being piloted by a genetically engineered pangolin named Green. Green sets the coordinates, and your ship enters the wormhole. All right. We're going to pin some of this. Now let's begin. Your destination is unknown. Well, it's not unknown. But you have no reason to doubt that it'll be safe. The wormhole is an interdimensional gateway which allows travel between two locations in different dimensions at a. Let the AI finish that. Much faster, at speed much faster than light. A single wormhole can connect to distant stars or even entire galaxies. Okay. Okay, you emerge at the Effluvian star cluster. Your rendezvous is a red dwarf star called Shipping and Traders Exchange. The SATE is a neutral train platform for the red dwarfs. It is run by humans, but also welcomes dwarf traders. So we got space dwarves. Well, it shouldn't be a star. It should be a space station or a trading outpost. Many of the dwarves are descendants from asteroid miners. They left their home for the glittering urban. They left their home for the glittering urban centers of Earth's Triple Star Alliance in search of work after their mines dried up. Okay. Okay. We're gonna dock at the SATE Deep Space Outpost. Okay, so a large complex made from wood and metal. Most of it is in ruins or else covered in old dust and debris. Leave it to the... So we got a space station made out of wood and metal. All right. Wait. So this is run by. So it's run by humans, but it's a red dwarf. It's run by humans, even though it's a dwarf. Okay, why not? You get an incoming you receive an incoming transmission. Hoi hoi, Grill and Pirate Pete. I was trying to do a sci-fi story where I'm the captain of a spaceship, the Starship Uranus, but the game decided to throw in space dwarves. They're actually red dwarfs specifically, which is kind of interesting. And they have a space outpost that's made of wood for some reason. I don't know how that's going to work, but we're landing and we're going to trade with them or something. All right, you receive an incoming transmission from a dwarven merchant named, that should be and, not and, Bear Leg. Who is that? Why are you calling me? You ask. Bear Leg replies. Hello, Captain. I'm glad you could accept my request to meet. I have some information regarding the Earth Alliance. It is best that you know. The merchant says it's best you it explains how it would be better Grill and Pirate Peak. Not only is this a text game, it's an AI generated text adventure. So you type stuff in. You're basically ad-libbing a story with an AI. So like the AI, I type in one part of the story, and then the AI, tells the next part of the story. So Merch explains how it would be better if the two of you could talk about this in person inside the outpost. You agree and you agree and exit the spaceship. See, so I type in this, and then the AI decides what happens next. Yeah, Stardew is a good game. I haven't sunk as many hours into it as I have Don't Starve and RimWorld, but it is a great game. Okay, so the two of you enter the remains of the outpost, and Bearlick shows you to a seat. So, Captain, what did you want to discuss? You said you had something urgent to tell me about the Triple Star Alliance. And we're actually going to get the... Also, too, you have to pin stuff, because the AI... this technology is still in its infancy, right? So the AI can forget stuff, so there's a dwarven merchant. Okay, so You said you had. So we're going to say you said you had something urgent to tell me about the Triple Star Alliance. And what was that? Yes. Well, they have been looking for you. If you offer the right price, they might even let you through. Actually, we're going to try that again. One of the things is if you can get the AI to give you another response, it will give you something that doesn't really make sense. The dwarf leans back and rubs his hands together. He explains that he explains about growing Pirate Pete. I can make you a part of the story. He explains about pirates raiding his trade vessels. The pirate bands are all making their stops at an Earth Alliance outpost called Inglip. It is dangerously close to the edge of the Alliance's claimed territory. Well, it should be a Inglip. Okay. He explains how the pirates have completely taken over the mining colony out there. Bearleg has tried to maintain good business relationships with the Earthlings, but it seems the pirate attacks are purposely letting the illegal miners get away with their equipment and supplies. The mining outpost Inglip contains the rare resources used to attract wormholes, which make traveling between star systems possible if the pirates are trying to monopolize space travel, he explains. Or it should be the mining outposts on Inglip are where the I should just say contains. Yeah, the mining outpost Inglip contains the rare Yeah, well, I can't think of a more elegant way to explain that, but basically that's where those resources are mined. Um, they have already made a fortune by charging a large fee for using the wormholes. The wormhole miners have taken control of the law and turned it against us, Bearleg complains. Okay, so they're actually mining wormholes. Okay. Anyway, um, hmm. um, so we're gonna ask them. So what do hmm. We're gonna ask so how do we take back the outpost? We, the dwarf's eyes light up. Yes, we are going to retake our outpost and shut down this pirate operation for good. You had you have a hard time believing this. The SATE, I'm assuming it's going to go. Outpost is run by a council of the biggest mining companies in the area. They would probably turn on the place if pirates held a majority on the council. Okay, so I think what we want to do is Fairleg, then um, Bearleg then leads you into a war room. A council um, um, Bearleg then leads you into a war room. So we want this to be what the the commander of the triple of the TSE military has a map of the what is it, what's the outpost called again? Inglip. On a large screen. He then tells you of the plan to retake the outpost. Okay, what's the plan? As you're about to leave, Bearleg catches your arm. Let's try that again. What's the plan? The military plans on taking the outpost by sending a small team to take out the pirates, and a second team will be sent to take out the rest of the inhabitants. Okay, why are we killing the miners? The commander then coughs and says, I meant free the rest of the inhabitants. You and Bearleg look at each other. Yeah. Then a second team will be sent in to take out the rest of the inhabitants. I'm going to free the rest of the inhabitants. You and Bearleg look at each other. I can't believe I said that out loud, he mutters. The two of you leave the room and head back to your ship. In the parking lot, you bump into the captain of the military outpost. You ask the commander, we're going to free the miners. Ask the commander, we're going to free. For once in one of these stories, I'm actually the good guy. Normally, I'm on the, because but before I've been like a thief and security in a cyberpunk corp where we were like running over protesters. This time, I'm actually doing the right thing. So I asked the commander, we're going to free the miners, right? We're not going to slaughter them. Ask the commander firmly, actually. We're going to be... Yeah. We'll ask him firmly. We're going to free the miners, right? We're not going to slaughter them, right? Try that again. Bearleg takes the controls and enters the coordinates for Inglip. So what's... No, we're still talking to the commander. We're not... Bearleg seems enthusiastic about the mission, but you have some concerns. Bearleg is a dwarf. Yeah, we know that. The miners are mostly his people. You'll probably be taking them to safety and then leaving them to fend for themselves. You approach them about, what if the miners don't want to come with us? Why wouldn't they? We're going to try that again. That doesn't make sense. You will probably be the first one to be slaughtered if there are any treachery intending inhabitants. You look over at him and ask, what if the miners don't want to be free? Well, of course they want to be free. We're going to have the commander say that. The commander asks, what if the miners don't want to be free? He continues, maybe the miners want to be slaughtered. You reply, that you're talking nonsense, sir. The dwarves just want to be free. They want to join the Triple Star Alliance. We should let them. Yes, let them march into a giant Death Star with no defenses and be slaughtered, but let a bunch of humans go free. What is the point of this? You have... That doesn't really make sense. Bearleg is not well, no, that should be the commander. The commander is not convinced. I don't know, we've had a long relationship with the dwarves. Oh no, that does make sense, because Bearleg... How about this? Bearleg is not convinced. I don't know, we've had a long relationship with the humans. We can't just let them slaughter the dwarves. There we go. Bearleg is not convinced. I don't know, we've had a long relationship with the humans. We can't just let them slaughter the dwarves. The commander replies. One of the cool things here is you can, I'm sure you've noticed this by now, is you can leave a a sentence hanging and the AI will finish it for you. Sir, you're captain of the military, you decide. Well, no, he's the captain of the military. I'm the captain of the starship. Sir, you're captain of the ship. You decide. He turns to you and says, if you want to stay at the ship, I suppose we can stay. If you want to join the mission, we leave in 1 hour. You discuss this with Bearleg and decide to be a part of the mission. You discuss this with Bearleg and the two of you reluctantly join the mission. Bearleg, you and Bearleg board the Uranus you sit down in the captain's chair and tell Green to see. We have a genetically engineered pangolin named Green who's piloting the ship to set the coordinates, or what is it? Inglip is the name of this place. Just so we're consistent. Yeah, Inglip. Yeah, you discuss this with Bearleg, and the two of you reluctantly join, and the two of you reluctantly decide to join the mission. You and Bearleg board the Uranus. You sit in the captain's chair. Tell Green to set the coordinates for England. There. Yeah, we'll do that. Green is confused, but we don't know where Inglip is. You reply. Or how about instead you show Green the map you got from the commander. Okay, so Green recognizes the coordinates, and soon the ship is approaching Inglip's location. The ship enters a small star and flies in the direction it is shining. After a few minutes, it does indeed locate the infamous mining outpost. The outpost is on top, the outpost is built on a giant asteroid named wait, what? The outpost is located on a giant asteroid named there you go. England. Well, actually, I don't think we want the how about this? We're just gonna Ulagoop. There we go. Yeah. It has several large machines built into it, which can be seen from far away. A giant metal ring hangs from the top of the station, which seems to be the focus of the whole mining operation. Okay. I don't know why I just spent like a whole minute trying to think of a name of an asteroid that that's probably never going to appear in the story later, but it was important to me anyway. Um, okay, so what's even the plan here? Your ship is flanked by the commander's star cruiser. The pirates pick you up on their. I guess it wouldn't be a radar in space, right? But on their scanners, whatever you'd use to detect something in space. Um, and their fighter ships descend upon you. Oh, Sockbat is the name of it's from a TV show called Drawn Together. It's on Comedy Central. There's a character named Waldorf Sockbat, and so that's where the Sockbat part of my name comes from. The replica part is Captain Beefheart's third album, Trout Mask Replica. So I kind of just combined the two. Pirate with a scar over his left eye and a hook instead of a hand holds his weapon and approaches the window where you sit. Well, first of all, that should be descend, but not descent. But we're going to re-roll that because it's kind of confused. Pirate with a scar over his left eye. Sends a pirate with a scar appears on your video screen. Yeah. So he's sending us a transmission. Pirate with a scar over his left eye and a hook over his hand, and a hook instead of a hand. Anyway, here's where we're... Yes, he was the yellow guy with the big nose. He was supposed to be a parody of he was supposed to be kind of like a cross between like Ren and Stimpy and SpongeBob SquarePants. That was kind of like the two. He was like a synthesis of the two. And yeah, he had like white bat wings for ears and like a doorknob coming out of his ass, and like it was just yeah. That's the character he was named after. Anyway, yeah, the show did put out 3 seasons back in the day, and I thought the show was hilarious. So, anyway, who are you and what do you want? He demands. Okay, here's where we're going to throw you into the story. His name is Pete, and he is the leader of the pirates. You tell him that you are just here to check the meter. Yeah, his name is Pete and he's the leader of the pirates. You tell him that you are just here to check the meter. Checking the meter, yeah. The miner's payroll. I'm required to make sure the crew get paid on a regular basis. Pete guffaws. The miners are slaves. They don't get paid. I guess I shouldn't have an apostrophe there. The miners are slaves. They don't get paid. Takes a moment for this to sink in, but when it does, a wave of anger washes over it shouldn't be the screen, washes over Bear Leg. Because Bear Leg's a dwarf, remember. Bear Leg's people have suffered enough. Now they're being forced to work for pirates. You have to do something about this. You call in the 2 law-abiding members of your team to explain the situation for them. Wait, so the rest of my ship is not law-abiding? I only have 2 law-abiding members of my team. Then you realize this is no time to follow the rules. You then tell your gunner to, or you then tell your crew to you then realize this is no time to follow the rules. You then tell the ship's gunner to open fire on the pirate starfighters. You then realize this is no time to follow the rules. You then tell your ship's gunner to open fire on the pirates' starfighters. This is going to confuse the shit of the AI, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, they can either work or get airlocked. The gunner hesitates at first, but you're a force of nature, and he doesn't have a choice. Anyway, you fire and your lasers start to shred the enemy spaceships. Yeah. Your lasers start to shred the enemy spaceships. They're very agile and firing back, but they're having trouble keeping up soon. Yours is the only one in the sky. I mean, we're in space, but whatever. We're just going to ignore that. Yeah, well, we're dealing with pirates. They're not going to play by the rules, so we're just going to shoot first and ask questions later. With the pirates' defenses taken care of, you tell Green to fly the ship towards the outpost. You then tell the gunner to fire an anti-matter warhead at the entrance. Yeah, well, we might work in some Shark Tank executions. You never know. We might go full Bond villain with this. You tell the gunner to fire at will. Both of them riddle the space station with missiles, torpedoes, and bullets. You and Bear Leg then. Now, this would be much funnier if Opinionated Scotsman was actually here in the voice chat of the chat, but this is how we're going to. You and Bear Leg then step onto the teleporter, and you tell Scotsman to beam you down to the outpost. The Pirate space station is a mass of explosions. You catch a few brief glimpses of flaming wreckage and black ooze before the teleporter shuts off. From a distance, you can hear screams and shouting. You have been teleported into one of the hangars. You see miners trying to flee to the escape ships, but the pirates are not letting them leave. They are instead shooting them on sight. That should be plural, not family. Oh, cool. He's 90. Wow. You turn around and see Bear Leg. We finished him off in time, but I don't see Green. Well, he's still on the ship. Or did Green come down with us? That's actually, let's re-roll that. I don't think it's really appreciating the gravity of the situation. The miners are terrified. You wonder if this is the start of a bloodbath, but Bearleg is undeterred. He walks straight for the pirate leader. This would be a very bad move on his part. So we're just gonna fight the pirate leader just right here in the hangar? Okay. Pete pulls out a giant sword. Are we gonna... Well, you have a hook for a hand. Well, how do I want to do this? Pete pulls out a plasma sword. I have it. pilot leader is Pete. He has a plasma sword. Right, so Pete pulls out a plasma sword. Okay, so something you brought only the guards carried. You're about to warn him when you see the miners standing behind him. You must have followed him in. You shrug and follow your... Yeah, I guess it should have been a cutlass. I was trying to think of the name of like what the pirate sword was, and because I knew the name, it just yeah, I guess it should be cutlass. We can just change that right now. Yeah. Okay, so even though this is a sci-fi story, I think we're gonna go in more of like a fantasy direction with this. So we're gonna have like a more melee oriented, because it would be just unfair if I could just shoot you. So Bearleg pulls out, but it's gonna be kind of sci-fi-ish. His Bearleg pulls out his warhammer and stares down Pete. Yeah, so we're gonna... The pirate's eyes widen. He tries to slash Bearleg with his cutlass, but Bearleg deflects the blow. Bearleg swings his warhammer, which connects with the helm's head and knocks him to the floor. Bearleg, okay, we don't want to end the fight this quick. This is supposed to be like the big fight between, like like Pete's the leader of, like Pete's the head pirate. We don't want to end the fight this quickly. I mean, so Pete activates his shield belt. I'm just pulling things from RimWorld lore now, but we'll see what the AI does with this. Pete activates his shield belt. He and his men are heavily outnumbered, but they're smart enough to stay on the defensive. You see Bearleg rushing for the kill, but at the last moment he leaps backwards. his men begin to fire their laser rifles from a catwalk above the hangar. You quickly pull Bear Leg into cover. I mean, they technically should outnumber us, but although I guess we're being flanked by that Star Cruiser, right? You look up and realize the battle might be lost, but you can still make a difference, so you get back to work. We're going to fire at the pirates on the catwalk with your laser rifle, or we're going to return fire. Yeah, return fire at the pirates on the catwalk with your laser rifle. You get to level and start spraying your laser rifle at the pirates positioned. They are heavily outnumbered, but they return fire. Should be us. It will say because technically there's two of us and a bunch of them, but so technically we should do that. But again, like maybe we have because again there's that Star Cruiser that the commander has, so maybe there's like other soldiers. How about actually we'll add that to the story now. Then how about the TSE Space Marines enter the hangar and begin to the TSE Space Marines enter the hangar and begin to fire at the pirates. So they're outnumbered, but yeah. Green has the best aim and manages to hit the fuel tank of one of the ships, destroying it in a spectacular explosion. Okay, so apparently we brought our pangolin with us, but well, I mean, he's genetically engineered, but he's supposed to be the pilot of the ship. I guess he's also helping us shoot the yeah. You pull Bear Leg out of the way of the explosion. The hangar fills with smoke, and you luckily everyone is still wearing their space suits. Green is a remarkable Green is a remarkable shot considering he is just a pilot and doesn't have opposable thumbs. Very light tanks and sees you to the escape pods. Well, we're not going to the escape pods. We still got to deal with the pirates. You find it odd he is just a pilot but not a gunner or a cook. You think to yourself that the Empire might have altered him as they did with you, but put such thoughts aside as irrelevant. You and how about this? We'll put the help Bearleg escort the dwarven miners to the escape ships or the escape pods as the battle unfolds. You help the dwarves to the carnage and into the escape pods. You ignore your pain as you ignore the begging of the miners and force them into the pods. Why are they begging? It's just, okay. Well, you know, like technically they should want to get out of here, but with the last of the miners safely in the pods, you and Bear Leg decide to pursue Pete. Alright, now we gotta have the fight with Pete. You both leap onto a ship and start firing at the pirate leader. Well, no, we're still in the hangar. You both don't like to leave a job unfinished. You know he's going to make a getaway. The Space Marines will also be able to finish off the uninjured, but you have to get the spineless pirate before. Wow. So the Triple Star Alliance shows no mercy if they're just finishing off the injured. Looks like we don't take prisoners either, even though we're supposed to be the quote-unquote good guys. But I guess there isn't a lot of law. You know, I guess there's a lot of lawlessness out in deep space. Well, let's see where the AI is going to go this before. They do. You both quickly duck into an airlock, into an atmosphere. You both strap, and then the sequence. Let's try that again. The Space Marines will be only able to finish off the uninjured, but you have to get to the spineless part before then. You see him in his ship preparing to leave. It is a blow as your opponent is more than half your size. Okay. Tell Scotsman to beam you back on. Step on the teleporter and tell Scotsman to beam you back onto the starship Uranus. Teleporter sucks you up and you're carried away from the plant. The teleporter doors open and you're greeted by a dozen angry space marines. Their Primus is waiting for you and he doesn't look happy. Let's try that again. We're chasing after the pirate. Just as Green, Captain Scotsman, and Bill step off in their escape pod. Try that again. One more time. This is really confusing the AI. You leap into the teleporter and teleport aboard the ship. You tell Scotsman. Okay, this is close enough. You tell Green to follow Pete as his ship leaves the outpost. I was like hoping for like a fight between like an actual sword fight between like Bearlig's Battlehammer and Warhammer and like the Plasma Cutlass, but it looks like we're gonna get a chase scene instead. Oh come on, really? Oh wait, oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Their Space Marine squads are already engaged with the pirates. You can see the dwarves getting away and are safe from having to go after them yet again by the timely arrival of the Space Marines. Okay, whatever. You chase after Pete's ship. He starts firing antimatter torpedoes at you. You chase after Pete's ship. He starts firing antimatter torpedoes at your ship. The torpedoes are slow but deadly and will cause an explosion that will destroy the ship and kill everyone on board. You aren't going to be able to run them despite your ship's top speed. Luckily, Green is an excellent pilot and weaves the ship between the torpedoes and they miss you. With a smooth maneuver, he causes the torpedoes to explode directly aboard the ship. This does massive damage, and a split second later they're exploding again as they hit more. Okay, that doesn't really make sense. You follow them through the ship. Bullets are fired at you, but no, we're chasing Pete. This is really confusing the AI. The torpedoes explode harmlessly in the void. Your ship quickly catches up to the one you saw him leave, and there we go. Pete, How about this? Pete's ship heads towards a nearby star. You're wondering if he's planning on using it for ignition, but it speeds past you and you see a small ship following it. Green fires a torpedo at the ship following the pirate. We're going to shoot first and ask questions later. Actually, let's see what happens after that. It hits, causing a small explosion, but the ship is so small and light it seems unlikely to causing it to explode. But shouldn't that more likely cause it to explode? Heat, then I'm trying to think of some place for Pete to land. Because I want to have this fight. Pete then lands his ship on a small landing platform. Quickly transfers into the smaller ship. Try to direct another torpedo at the ship, but it is blocked by ships being in the way. Okay. Apparently we can't blow, the ship is too small to blow up with a torpedo for reasons that are not explained. I'll be right back. back.
Hello, Sockbat.
Oh,
I'm so
hello.
sorry.
We're
I didn't
yeah,
realize the time.
I'm chasing Grilling Pirate Pete. He's a space pirate, and he's making a getaway. Okay, the smaller ship then lands on a
All right. Well, right after this game of Phasma ends, we're all gonna come raid your stream, okay?
oh, okay. Well, the stream's kind of wrapping up, but
Oh, do you want me to tell them to not raid your stream?
yeah, well, it's soon. Yeah, we're about to have the final. Um, the small ship that lands on a nearby planet, you decide to have another go at destroying the other ship. This time you aim for the engines. The torpedo explodes, denting the ship's hull, but it is still moving. Okay, so the smaller ship crash lands in the desert. The smaller ship crash lands in the desert. Pete hits the ejector button and in a matter of seconds, the ship is flying towards the planet's surface. You see him jump from the ship after it has landed. Okay, so we're gonna land in the actually we're gonna Scotsman then beams you and Green and Bear Leg. He's this game decided. I tried to do a sci-fi story. This game threw in space dwarves, so and the pirates have took over their mining colony and forced them to mine for them. So Bear Leg's one of the dwarves. Scotsman then beams you and Green and Bear Leg down to the desert. Pete then draws his plasma cutlass. He isn't going to go quietly, or he has no intentions of going quietly. Right, this is the Hey, holy holy arms killer. Yeah, this is the final showdown between Grilling Pirate Pete and my crew. I'll cut you to pieces, you overgrown space monkey, he shouts, charging at you. Okay, I guess we're a space monkey. Well, I mean, I already established early on that Green was a genetically engineered pangolin, so why can't we be like a genetically engineered chimp? Yeah.
Green's a genetically engineered pangolin?
Yeah,
That's
he was the
amazing.
pilot. He's the pilot of the ship.
Jeez.
And then we got Bearleg, or Space Dwarf, and then he has a warhammer. And then, so since we're an overgrown space monkey, we're gonna throw your feces at Pete. You release a wave of green gas at his face. That's not what I was thinking of, but I mean, we're genetically engineered, right? At his face, and it completely envelops him. His eyes begin to water, and his skin begins to burn as he coughs up blood. Yes.
All right. I will listen to your stuff from chat. I want to know how it ends.
Okay. Okay. So
And by the way, everybody leave a like on Sockbat stream.
you release
Later.
you release a wave. Okay. So that wasn't what I was thinking, but I mean, being a genetically engineered chimpanzee, you have natural gas attacks that you emit from your ass. Because that makes, this is the future we live in. Pete attempts to swing his plasma sword but vomits blood instead and falls to the ground. His skin begins to bubble and his hair begins to smoke. Okay. This is... Bearleg draws his warhammer and finishes off Pete. Alright, this is how it ends, Pete. I think that'll be enough killing today. There are many, many more worms to be dug up, he says. Bearleg's workers arrive with entrenching tools and begin to expand the colony. Okay, try that again. Thanks, you say. Bearleg nods, and you see a small mining outpost in the distance. Okay, try this again. It's not... The battle is won, but your ape is becoming... Well, we are the ape. Okay, the battle is won, but your ape is becoming more violent. Your heavy metal songs are allowing a little more freedom in your mind and your violent nature. You feel an uncontrollable rage. Yes, okay, so your ape brain so apparently we have like an earworm or something, of as you have a brain implant that constantly plays heavy metal songs and you have a brain implant that constantly ahoy hoy Scotsman, you have a brain implant that constantly plays heavy metal songs from inside your own head. It was designed to keep your chimpanzee impulses in check, but it seems to have the opposite effect. As Bearleg Actually, we'll just leave it at that. You have a brain implant that constantly plays heavy metal songs from inside your head. It was designed to keep your chimpanzee impulses in check, but it seems to be having the opposite effect right now. Yeah. You tackle Bearleg to the ground and begin to strangle him. Okay, so we've turned on Bearleg now. You tackle Bearleg to the ground and begin to strangle him. Bearleg fights back with his heavy hammer, but you are too strong. He falls to the ground, and you smash your fist into his face. Okay, we're going to rip Bearleg's throat out. You swing your arm around, grab Bearleg's throat. You pull your fist backwards and feel the crunch as his neck breaks. Okay. Luckily, he's just a dwarf, and you probably won't get in trouble for this. While you were turning on your friend in your murderous rampage, you didn't notice as a wounded pirate Pete was able to get away. He laughs as he runs off into the desert. There, so we didn't kill Pete after all. He survives. It's a bit too late for you, though. You feel a bullet go into your neck. You slowly fall down to the ground, barely able to breathe. You see two large men dressed as knights riding up on. Actually, we're going to just make this green doing this. Or you see two men in white coats. They then turn to green and promote him to captain of the ship before they take you back to the lab. The end. All right. Moral of the story. Never trust a space monkey. They're all evil, treacherous, and insane. Yes. And yeah, that was an interesting story. I know a bunch of people didn't show up here until the end, but we had a lot of fun. I was the captain of the starship Uranus. We had Green, our genetically engineered pangolin. We met up with the there's kind of an interesting pun that the AI came up with. It took like the idea of a red dwarf star and just made a race of space dwarves called the red dwarfs, and they were miners. We had a pirate outpost to deal with. We did free the miners, so that was good. Then there's the plot twist at the end where we turned out to be a genetically engineered chimp. And then we just went crazy and killed Bearleg, who was this. We actually met him at the beginning. He was he was we met him on this deep space outpost, and yeah, it's just he's a dwarven merchant named Bearleg, and yeah, we were going to free his people from the pirates. His people wanted to join the Triple Star Alliance, and yeah, and then we ended up murdering him because we went crazy, and now we're getting dragged back to the lab. Green is now captain. The end. Yeah, that was fun. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in, even though it was at the end of the stream. If you're curious about what happened, you can go back and watch the replay. And next Monday at 3, I'll be doing another one of these. So see you then.